Hey guys, it's Jordan with the Young Turks and TYT Politics. Let me get my camera set there for you. No mistake. I am not looking my best. I'm not feeling my best. I did not sleep last night, as you could tell. The bag's under my eyes. Um, Emma and I are pretty much running on empty. I've been on the road now, I'd say, I don't even know. I think I've been home 4 or 5 days in the last month and a half. So, um, no pity party. Love what I do, and I am happy to do it. But it's definitely been busy lately. Obviously, WikiLeaks is, and reporting on WikiLeaks is a full-time job. And I unfortunately don't have all my time dedicated just to going through WikiLeaks because I have to go cover important stories like Standing Rock. And then I obviously did the Disappearing Middle Class tour last week. So I'm trying my best. Full disclosure, I'm definitely behind on the WikiLeaks. When WikiLeaks first came out, I was home in New York, so I could pay attention to it fully. Since then, I went to Standing Rock. Now I'm in Vegas covering the debate. So I've pretty much been going through it like a crack addict. I do lightning fire for an hour, and then I go, try to go through the backlog of footage we have, eat a meal, shower, those kinds of things. So this won't be as long as my other reports because I have to make it to the debate before they pull my credentials. As you know, there's the debate tonight in Las Vegas. I will get to that in a little bit. I wanted to start with two things before I get into the latest leaks. I encourage you to share this video live while you're watching it. Let's get it out to as many people as possible. Number one, Ecuador came out yesterday acknowledging that they pulled Julian Assange's internet access. They gave pretty, I'd say, nonsense statement. I don't have the statement in front of me, but it was basically saying that we respect Julian Assange. We will continue to protect him. Julian Assange has been in asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy, I think for 6 years now. So they say they will continue to offer him asylum, but they insinuated that Julian the United States presidential election, and as a result, they pulled his access. I want to be clear. I don't personally have evidence that this is something from the United States. There's no proof or reporting out there yet that shows that President Obama was behind it, Secretary Kerry. So I'm putting that as the disclaimer before I tell you what I think, because it would be irresponsible for me to say, there's evidence that this is the United States who did this. There is currently not evidence of that. With that said, you have to look at the sequence of events, right? So time is a blur to me, but WikiLeaks released the first of the Podesta leaks on not this past Friday, but the Friday before that. A few hours before WikiLeaks released that, I think it was 2 hours before the first batch came out, the Obama administration, for the first time, came out unequivocally saying, this is WikiLeaks. This is the Russian government is behind these leaks, and they are trying to affect the U.S. election and essentially are trying to get Donald Trump elected. So cause and effect. President Obama and his administration came out Friday afternoon blaming it on Russia. WikiLeaks releases the first batch, which were Hillary Clinton's bank speeches to banks like Goldman Sachs. Then on I think it was the first presidential debate, Hillary Clinton uses the Obama administration talking point that, as the Obama administration said a few days ago, this is the Russian government, and she tried to deflect off that. And because our journalists moderating the debates didn't push back on her. So that is what you have seen time and time again. Before this Podesta leaks, it seems like the DNC and the Democrats have gotten a tip-off that WikiLeaks is about to release things. Because way back, I think it was not this Podesta leaks, but whatever WikiLeaks released in advance of the Podesta leaks, Donna Brazile, the interim chair of the DNC, came out with a statement blaming Russia. 2 hours later, WikiLeaks came out. So it seems like the Obama administration, the DNC, Democratic operatives either know WikiLeaks is coming out with new batches about maybe 2 or 3 hours beforehand. So they start with the Russia fear-mongering and the Cold War rhetoric, and then WikiLeaks comes out. The reason I say this is although there is no evidence, keyword evidence, that the Obama administration is behind Ecuador shutting off his internet, Assange's internet, or Kerry, the bottom line is, Julian Assange has been staying at Ecuador's I'm so tired. Wherever he's staying in Ecuador at their embassy, he's been there for 6 years. So Ecuador by itself didn't just unilaterally say, you know what, we think Julian Assange is really up to no good, and we're going to cut off his internet, 2 weeks before the presidential election. I find it hard to believe that Ecuador, frankly, cares that much. So one would think that there is a foreign government outside of Ecuador that has been trying to urge Ecuador to cut off Assange. They've been trying to urge Ecuador to extradite Assange to Sweden, where he had 2 charges of sexual assault. I'm going to get into that in another video because it's actually been proven, and the women have dropped those charges. They have said he did not do this, but still we keep hearing Julian Assange is raped these women. There's no proof of that, and they've actually dropped the charges. Anyway, what I'm getting at is I personally think the Obama administration, whether it's Secretary Kerry, I don't think it's Obama directly, I think they had a little chat with Ecuador. It's a little too convenient 2 weeks before the election, as WikiLeaks and Assange is just battering Hillary Clinton with leaks every single day. I mean, even a professional like me, I can't keep up with the leaks. There's a new part every day. Sometimes there's two new parts in one day. You would think that President Obama, who's made it very clear he wants Hillary Clinton to replace him, they might think that there's something in there, or they might be expecting something very, very bad to come out. So they want to shut down Assange. Now let's make clear, cutting off Julian Assange's internet access did not stop the continued leaks from coming out. Julian Assange and WikiLeaks has said if anything happens to Julian Assange, they have a kill switch or a dead man switch for more leaks to come out. But I wanted to say that I personally find it very suspect that Ecuador on its own decided let's cut off Julian Assange's access to his live stream. Arnold, Jordan, did you end up winning in blackjack? Arnold, this was the first time I played blackjack in my life, and I won a shit ton of money. I don't have a lot of time to get into that, but beginner's luck. It was fun. So, moving on to the second topic I wanted to get into. I've gotten a lot of people reaching out to me, Jordan, why aren't you reporting on James O'Keefe? He's a conservative, I don't even know what you would call him, undercover documentary filmmaker. Why aren't you reporting on this stuff he did undercover, which showed a Democratic, kind of like a Democratic front group of Democratic operatives, essentially putting plants in at Donald Trump rallies. So this Democratic front group, I forget the names of the people in it. I don't have a lot of time to look into this right now. I got too much on my plate. Essentially, they were hiring people to agitate at Donald Trump rallies, sending them early at 6 a.m. so that these people would be in the front at the rallies and they could disturb and protest at Donald Trump rallies. Number one, I personally think it's more important to report to you stuff that's factually right in Hillary Clinton campaign communications rather than Democratic operatives from a outside group putting plants in at Trump rallies. The other reason is I'm not going to just tell you what you want to hear. There's a lot of people out there that will. I say that all the time. There is no evidence that I have seen. And again, it's hard to keep up with as much as, I'm trying to read as much as I humanly can while sleeping and eating. We've gone from Standing Rock to this. I've been on the road for a month and a half. I can't do as much research as I would like. But from what I've seen, there's no evidence that clearly shows Hillary Clinton's campaign was involved with basically coordinating with this Democratic front group to plant Democrat. Basically, you've heard things. They hired homeless people to go agitate at Trump rallies. They hired, senior citizens, whatever it was. that might be true. I personally think James O'Keefe, based on his track record, is a fraud. He's been shown that his videos, he was the one behind the Acorn takedown. He dressed like a pimp. His group and him have a pattern of selectively editing and doctoring footage where it's not factual. It's taken out of context. So I don't personally trust things that come out. However, in fairness, the people that James O'Keefe undercover, or whoever undercover for working for James O'Keefe, I don't know if it was him or somebody else, they got Democratic operatives on camera, and apparently it wasn't edited, to basically say, like, we just got to win, motherfucker. So we're gonna put people in as plants. We're gonna get them to agitate at Trump rallies, and it's all kind of this concocted appearance that there's violence at Trump rallies. There is violence at Trump rallies. I've been to many, so it's not all plants. There is natural violence at Trump rallies. Make no mistake. I am not defending Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump. But two things. Number one, there's no proof that Hillary Clinton's campaign was involved with it. I'll be the first one to report it if I find proof. So we could want this to be true. We could say, Jordan, why aren't you reporting on this? It's the smoking gun. You can't say there's a smoking gun just because you want there to be a smoking gun. I'm a journalist, so I have to separate what I personally feel about Hillary Clinton with facts. I'm not going to make up facts. There is no evidence at this point that Hillary Clinton's campaign was involved with this outside Democratic group planting people at Trump rallies. Does that mean it's not true? Of course not. I actually, if I was guessing, I bet you not Hillary Clinton's campaign directly, but conduits of Hillary Clinton's campaign, maybe people in the super PACs, their hatchet man, whatever you want to call it, was involved with this outside group planting people at Trump rallies. But I'm not going to report it as fact that Hillary Clinton's campaign was involved or the DNC was involved, because I don't know. And I don't have the evidence to support that. So if you want to go watch people who will foam at the mouth about it, there's plenty of people. The third thing I wanted to get into before I get to the particular leaks is I think that I've done whole videos already on the media and them essentially propping up this Russian theory that the Russians are behind this and letting the Clinton folks just spout this at the mouth that the Russians are behind this and Donald Trump's in bed with Vladimir Putin and all these things. Number one, if Russia is behind it, that is a separate topic. That's cybersecurity and Russia being behind hacking, whether it's Hillary Clinton's emails or other government emails, is a story, and it deserves coverage and investigation. But that has nothing to do with what is inside these leaks. And you have people at Vox.com, the NewYorkTimes.com, all these places saying, people who read these leaks are puppets for Vladimir Putin. No, people that read these leaks are journalists. John Podesta, sorry, John, sorry, Hillary Clinton's campaign, you don't have the same right to privacy as normal citizens because you are some of the most powerful people in this country. The Pentagon Papers was obtained illegally. The NSA information that Edward Snowden got was obtained illegally. The Sony hacks that these same people at the New York Times and Vox covered in depth, they were obtained illegally. So I'm tired of hearing this. If I get Hillary Clinton's campaign to talk to me tonight, and if I do, it's going to be by this, they're not willingly talking to me. I might have to disguise myself at this point. We'll be asking about Russia. Let's put it that way. But the propaganda has gotten to the point where it's like watching Russian state television on CNN. Secondly, I think it's dangerous because by doing this, you are actually inciting escalated tension between the United States and Russia. That is what's happening right now when the Clinton campaign, when the DNC, when their allies on CNN, on MSNBC keep pushing that Russia is behind this, Russia is behind this. You are escalating tensions with Russia. I don't agree with Donald Trump, but I don't think it's a good idea in general to try to escalate tensions to a Cold War 2.0 with Russia, whose president has killed journalists and is a maniac. So if this is Hillary Clinton, who is saying she doesn't believe in ground troops in Iraq and Syria, I've learned I've learned from my mistakes. I'm not as much of a neocon as people think. Well, you're fooling a lot of people, because this is neocon talk. This drumbeat for Russia is the same drumbeat that we heard with weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. So this is not just about this election, but by doing this and this fear-mongering about Russia, you are escalating tensions and possible war with another country. That's what you're doing. And I understand it. You're trying to deflect off of the hacks. But you have to be careful with that. Secondly, I see a lot of trolls on Twitter and Facebook get into this, well, Jordan, you're a puppet for Russia, this and that. How much evidence do you need? And they list off all the government officials that say this is Russia. I didn't go to journalism school. I took a journalism class, but I didn't go to journalism school. But one of the basic tenets of journalism, and just common sense, government officials telling you something is true is not confirmation it is true. A lot of times it's confirmation that it is not true. All you need to look at is weapons of mass destruction. Obama's government has told us many things that happen to be not true about drones and other things. So Obama administration, the CIA, the NSA saying it's definitely Russia. Since when did that become indisputable evidence that it is Russia? I mean, I've never heard of such a thing. And again, I don't have any skin in the game. I don't care. If it is Russia, it's Russia. I'll be the first one to say, hey, I was wrong. It's Russia. But I'll be wrong because I see evidence that it's Russia. Technical expertise, technical evidence that this is Russia. And as I've read people who say it is, cybersecurity firms that say it is, and I've read people who say it's not. So it's not an issue where if it is Russia, it's Russia. So be it. But all these people beating the drum and telling people like me and The Intercept and actual journalists covering this that you're a puppet for Vladimir Putin. No, you're a puppet for the government and Hillary Clinton's campaign. And you're taking what they tell you hook, line, and sinker. And that's when democracy is at risk, when people can't think for themselves and they take whatever their government tells them as fact. So that's my soapbox on the Russian thing. I got into James O'Keefe. Again, with James O'Keefe, by the way, the person involved with this Democratic Front group was fired. So there is some truth to the fact that there was a Democratic Front group that was putting plants at Trump rallies to incite violence and then make it look like Trump rallies were violent. But I'm not going to tell you that it's Hillary Clinton's campaign because there's no evidence to back that. And this channel and my reporting is not about, it's not about finding the facts I want to be true. It's about just finding the facts, period.